Hello everybody, Ryan here. For this week's post, I chose the example of computers as the aspect of modernity. I saw that Anthony had used the concept of the internet, which was a very wise choice, but I'm going to stick with computers even though they are intimately related. Computers were originally invented for many reasons. Chief among them, though, were probably to calculate tedious and long-winded mathematical formulas and to simplify them. Other reasons were to help break German codes during World War II and to simply hold large amounts of data. What it essentially was a way to make man's life much easier, and it did. It's also made it a lot more difficult, though. Computers have definitely fulfilled their intentions. Without the computer and the technology associated with them, our society would come to a grinding halt. Computers have made endless benefits and ways of making our lives easier, though. Everything from technology that makes our cars work, to air traffic control so the planes don't crash into one another, to cell phones, etc., etc. Technology and computers makes all this possible. However, as I mentioned before, computers have also been corrupted in many ways. The internet truly allows for this corruption to take place, but the computer is technically ground zero. Corruption can be viewed in hacking, identity theft, cyber warfare, organizing and recruiting for terrorism, exploitation, and much, much more. Not to mention how computers, or more properly computer chips, are used now in the design and use of roadside bombs in Afghanistan and Iraq. As for part 2 of the question dealing with how Christians should view the world, John 15:19 reveals that even though Christians are in the world, we should not be of the world. Meaning that although we are saved and redeemed, we still find ourselves physically in a fallen world. We need to be aware of temptations and indulgences that are harmful to us. 1 John 2:16 gives a list of these worldly traits that Christians should be mindful of and avoid, such as the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. So we need to reject that which is of the world, the previous lusts, and we need to embrace and not emulate fallen mankind. Finally, we need to seek to redeem them with the gospel of Christ. This is especially true of Muslims. I know that I need to work on viewing Muslims not only as an adversary, but as people who need Christ's forgiveness and salvation. Finally, whether or not we can give credit to Islamists for accurate observations, even though they're often wrong with solutions. In the sense of computers, many jihadists view them as a form of modernization from the West, thus wrong. Yet in the same sense, they're also ready and willing to use them for their own purposes, whatever those purposes may be. I'm also sure that many Muslims accurately observe the evils computers can be used for, yet getting rid of them would be far too extreme and the wrong solution, which is I'm sure what a lot of them would like to do. Another example of an accurate Islamic observation is that of private property rights. Muslims and Christians in general view private property as a right from God. That's more than I can say for the government that takes exorbitant amounts of taxes from me, though, thus implying I don't own my home, but I digress from that. However, although Muslims would agree in the right to private property, their solution would ultimately end in Sharia, which is not ideal, far from ideal. So those are my comments right now. I look forward to your all replies, and thank you.